Fine. We'll see, but good for them. MLW last night.
Yeah.
That turned out to be a really fun show. Not that I was expecting it not to be, but there was some good stuff. What did you think of the presentation? The ring on the stage was one. They were surrounded by the video boards, like Court had told us on Wednesday. And what did you think of the video screens and just the way that they presented the show?
I thought it came off much better than maybe even they thought. Court was on the show and he mentioned like we don't know how this is gonna go. Might suck, honestly. But I thought it was good because the way it was set up, it was a theater. And so obviously if you're shooting one side, you can see the crowd and that's fine. But if you're shooting the other side, there's nothing if they didn't have these video screens. So this was just much better than like, hey, let's stare at this curtain the entire time or like a black wall or whatever it might be. I like that every match had like a unique little background for it. It gave every match like a different aesthetic or everything. We saw the ship with the Kraken. The Mystico match had the like the banners, almost like a bullfighting Coliseum setting there. So yeah, like it was I like the different backgrounds that they used for everything. And overall, I thought it came off very well when they weren't sure what to expect, and I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I think there was improvements they probably could have made on it as to be expected, considering it was the first time doing it. But considering it was the first time doing it, I think they got something there, and they're obviously going to run that venue more because as the news came out before the show, they moved their headquarters to Charleston. So yeah, I imagine they're going to run that venue a lot in the coming months and years. So they'll have more time to kind of tinker with things and really get it down.
Will Ring of Hallucinations be moving their headquarters as well down south?
We don't have a headquarters.
I mean, technically, it's where you're sitting right now.
Yeah, the headquarters is wherever you are in your mind.
Oh, that's true. That
Yeah.
is the drug thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The show was great. The event was fun. I think you nailed it on the head. For a first run, the video boards worked. There is stuff that they can work with and work on, but like that's kind of what you expect. This was like their beta presentation, and for that, I think they should continue to build on it. They also made the announcement that MLW Fusion's coming back next year. So for those who are looking for a weekly MLW style television program to pay attention to, then you've got it next year. And then moving to Charleston, it makes sense to run your tapings out of there and make yourselves more of a Charleston brand, a Charleston shoe. No, not that. Yeah, but the show itself was pretty good. The wrestling was fun. Mystico wins the Opera Cup, which, to the surprise of no one, is what happened. Takes a sip of Don Gato after he won it, drinks it from the Opera Cup. I thought that was sweet.
Well, he was like scared to like pour it into the Opera Cup, and then so he just drank it straight out of the bottle. I was like, all right, fair.
You're right. It was very funny.
I respect it.
Cross defeated Matt Riddle in the main event, tapped him out. They made a big deal out of that because Riddle, I don't think, had submitted an MLW yet. So now the big story will be, did he use an illegal chokehold? And I'm sure that'll play into it.
Is that the story?
I think tried to tell that as a story. Dombrowski was not Dombrowski. Lawler, Tom Lawler was kind of like, was it? Did he choke?
Lawler was drunk off his ass though. They did a Lawler shot counter, and so
what did he get to?
I think he was like 18 by the end of the night. And you're taking 18 shots of tequila, assuming that's a shoot number. Yeah, Lawler didn't know what the hell was going on by the end of the main event.
Good for him. That's what I want. Oh yeah, so. We'll see what they do with that. And I heard that as of 10:55 a.m. Eastern, the Good Brothers are still fighting with the Skyscrapers.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, don't know where, but they are still fighting somewhere on the streets of Charleston. And Cruel, he retained his title in whatever that was, that bunkhouse brawl. Poor Arn Anderson, he was trying. Yeah. He was trying.
Yeah. Brought out CW for that whole. Maybe like one of these guys got to take a bump.
Oh, but anyway, it was a fun show. There was more on the card. Go check it out. It's free on the MLW YouTube channel, and I think that if you go with an open mind and you want to see something different for a wrestling presentation, you'll find something really fun from it. So once again, MLW they should be praised for trying something new. Not everything's going to be for you, but you'll find something in it. So good for them.
Yeah. Again, MLW is very kind to us. We appreciate them when it comes to that, and they do good shows. They do like a. It used to be a tight 2 hours. Now it's a little bit longer, but I think the show last time was like 2:10. I'm pretty sure I wrapped up all my coverage with at like 10:10 or something. So yeah, the shows go by very quickly. Nothing goes too long. They don't do 40-minute matches. Everything's in that 12 to 18 sweet spot for me, or longer or shorter than that, which is great if they're shorter than that. And they get through stuff, and they're bringing in some good talent with everything. So MLW, they're doing well, and doing something like they did last night will hopefully be another step in the right direction for them, and just wrestling in general, because we haven't seen anything quite like that in wrestling. I mean, the Thunderdome era is kind of the closest, and the Thunderdome era was fans on a screen, and that sucked because there wasn't actual fans there. So I get it. But AEW runs the unique venues, and that's great. And like when they run the theater venues, that's very good. And this is a kind of another take on that, but they kind of maximize their space with the video wall there. And it was very, it's not quite the Vegas Sphere, but I understand the comparison that Court went for there. So it was good.
Yeah, it was more immersive. I found it like when UFC ran the Sphere the way that they presented it, where I think the comparison he was trying to make was using different backdrops for every match that spoke to the match you were doing. So for that, he nailed it. But if you're expecting it to look like the Sphere, he ain't got the money for that. Nobody does. UFC got it because the Saudis paid them billions and billions of dollars to do it. Millions, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with what Louis is saying. The entrances should have come from the video wall, because they came through the crowd and then like walked up the ramp and everything. I did like that kind of felt like a cool experience of coming from the crowd with there. But I do like how UFC did it. Again, the Sphere is a little bit different, but like during the UFC entrances, when they would walk you to the screen behind them, and that really added an aesthetic to the entrances with the Sphere screen behind them. And maybe that's something, again, next time they'll look at, like, all right, you know what, let's do it this way instead. I think they wanted to maybe just go through the crowd this time to really give more of a fan experience there. But I do agree, it did feel a little awkward when they were coming through the crowd, like walking towards the video instead of walking with the video playing in the background. But it was something different, so I can appreciate that.
I feel like if you have everything happen on the stage in a not a promotion, but a presentation like wrestling, where you do need the crowd hyped up, you almost need to walk through the crowd, because otherwise it's just everything's in this one space confined to one area. And so getting the wrestlers to walk through the crowd at least makes it more real, makes it more immersive, and it adds to the experience, whether it's I got to touch them or I got to see them close up and get a photo, whatever. Like, to me, it made sense to walk them through there. I understand the awkwardness that it looked like. You can find presentationally a way to make it look cooler than just like we're walking down the aisle looking for our seat. Oh, got a ticket. It's 315 row A, seat 17. Oh, you're in my seat. I'm here for my match. So it makes sense, but you got to find a way to make it more entertaining, or at least more part of the show, more immersive. So yeah, otherwise you bring them on the stage, like it looks cool, but you're not necessarily as bought in because you're not seeing them up close and personal.
They should have a giant video screen behind them as they walk through the crowd with whatever their aesthetic is. And, someone's like holding it like a giant video screen, and then they place it onto the wall when the match begins. And so then it just becomes part of the wall there. That's what I would go with.
They should get the WrestleMania 3 ring cart, drive them down the aisle, and surrounded by video on the ring cart, because we're bringing it into 2025, 2026. Like we're modernizing this idea. And then everyone's like, I can't walk through this aisle. Like, too bad. It's not for you. It's a scissor lift. Those are skinny enough. And the wrestlers are way up there. By the way, Danny McBride, shout out to Court. He was there. Just like he told us he would be, having fun watching the matches and getting excited for mostly the women's matches, but either way, he was
Yeah,
there.
that's why they mainly showed him is during the women's matches.
not a great look, but he was there and he was enjoying himself. So good for him.
Danny McBride was enjoying his tequila and watching Scarlett, Isla, Shotzi, and Priscilla out there. So good on him. I'm sure he was enjoying the other matches. They just decided to cut him on into the women's matches.
Let's make Danny McBride look like a giant pervert.
You couldn't give him a shot during the Mystico match or something? Shit.
There's plenty more over on Fightful Overbooked. Click that subscribe button, tap that bell, get your notifications. And while you're at it, like the videos. Interact with them. Say some stuff. We want to hear from you. While you're at it, join us every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, live for In the Weeds. You might like it.